In 24 February 2022, war escalated between Russia and Ukraine. A full-scale invasion from Russia is causing irreparable damage to Ukrainians and its infrastructure. The officials fear that besides civilian causalities, internet communications may become obsolete through Russian hacking or destruction of internet infrastructures, and Ukrainians will not be able to let the world know their condition. Then what the Ukrainians will do? This is what we will know in today's episode of innovio. Right when the Ukrainians were in need of internet for communication, then on February 26, 2022, midnight, Mikhailo Fedorov, Ukraine's vice prime minister, tweeted tagging Elon Musk saying, "While you try to colonize Mars, Russia try to occupy Ukraine. While your rockets successfully land from space, Russian rockets attack Ukrainian civil people. We ask you to provide Ukraine with Starlink stations and to address same Russians to stand." In response to this tweet, Musk sent Starlink internet terminals to Ukraine so the Ukrainians can keep their communications to the rest of the world using Starlink's internet. But what is Starlink and why Ukrainians are valuing it so much? We will know more about Starlink in this video. When you think of Elon Musk, you probably think of his electric vehicle company Tesla, his space exploration company SpaceX, or his hosting role on Saturday Night Live. Perhaps you simply know him as one of the richest men on the planet. However, you may be unfamiliar with his other endeavor, Starlink, which aims to offer internet connections to virtually anyone on the planet through an increasing network of private satellites flying overhead. After years of development within SpaceX and after winning $885.5 million in financing from the Federal Communications Commission at the end of 2020, Starlink picked up the pace in 2021. In March, the project achieved 2,135 satellites in orbit after 3 years of successful launches. Starlink is now available. Starlink is one of the many comparable firms that have launched small satellites into Earth's lower orbit, despite the fact that it is a relatively new technology. These satellites provide broadband internet services in remote places where terrestrial networks, such as fiber optic cables, are not viable or convenient to reach. It allows satellites to communicate without having to transfer data back to a ground station. While most satellite internet services are now provided by single geostationary satellites orbiting the Earth at approximately 35,000 kilometers, Starlink is a constellation of numerous satellites orbiting the planet at approximately 550 kilometers and covering the whole globe. Due to the low orbit of Starlink satellites, the round-trip data time between the user and the satellite is also reduced. It's also a game-changing technology in emergency situations like the Russia-Ukraine crisis. Starlink can be deployed in minutes without the requirement for traditional ground infrastructure to assist emergency personnel in catastrophe situations. When hurricanes or other natural disasters impede communication, the technology can be a lifesaver. 16 February 2022, officials in Ukraine blamed Russia for a cyber attack on the country's defense ministry and at least 2 banks on Tuesday. According to Reuters, Russia has denied involvement in what Ukraine has described as the greatest cyber attack it has ever faced. Deputy Prime Minister Mikhailo Fedorov described the attack as unprecedented at a press conference. The National Cybersecurity Center in the United Kingdom and U.S. agencies, including the National Security Agency, published a joint report warning that a Russian state-backed hacker group known as Sandworm had developed a new type of malware known as Cyclops Blank. According to the research, the sophisticated virus may have devastating consequences. This hacker group was also blamed for the devastating NotPetya attack on Ukraine in 2017. February 26, 2022, midnight, Mikhailo Fedorov, Ukraine's vice prime minister, tweeted tagging Elon Musk saying, "While you try to colonize Mars, Russia try to occupy Ukraine." While your rockets successfully land from space, Russian rockets attack Ukrainian civil people. We ask you to provide Ukraine with Starlink stations and to address same Russians to stand. Till date, Ukraine has formed a cyber army with a backlink with Silicon Valley to counter the cyber attack. Within hours, Elon Musk responded to the minister, Starlink. According to Al Jazeera, internet access in Ukraine has been badly harmed as a result of the Russian invasion, notably in the country's southern and eastern regions. According to NetBlocks, Ukraine has seen a series of substantial disruptions to internet access since Russia began military operations in the nation on Thursday. Because SpaceX's Starlink service does not require a ground station to relay data to its users, it has an advantage in the current scenario of being able to function in areas where significant fighting is taking place. But it will have an impeccable role in cyber warfare if Ukraine loses all of its internet infrastructure. The country will have upper hand in uploading war zone footages in social media. Many people who witnessed the encounter immediately praised Musk, with some even calling him a hero. Ukrainians may now just go to their Wi-Fi settings and choose Starlink. Currently, there are around 1,600 active Starlink satellites in orbit, with plans to launch hundreds more in the future. Musk's cult of personality, along with the nature of Starlink's high-flying activities, portrayed him as a godlike figure, a great internet rescuer, raining Wi-Fi down from the skies. Musk, on the other hand, is a businessman, not a philanthropist. And SpaceX was formed with the explicit goal of putting people to Mars and making life multiplanetary, as Musk's tagline puts it. Musk intends to save humanity by populating Mars rather than by providing universal internet access, and Starlink is expected to help fund that deep space endeavor. However, as Musk expands his Starlink network, he may be able to have global influence, potentially providing or taking away a vital component of modern life. It's difficult to say how much of a difference Starlink will make in Ukraine's connection issues, if any. But this is a natural position for Musk, who has built a reputation for stepping into emergency situations when he believes one of his many businesses could help, whether the folks involved ask for it or not. After a volcano explosion and tsunami near Tonga wrecked undersea cables and cut the island nation off from the rest of the world, SpaceX sent 50 free Starlink dishes and set up a new ground station in adjacent Fiji last month. Musk announced last week that communication would be restored soon. The situation in Ukraine may worsen if two sides fail to reach any conclusion. Elon Musk and its text may help Ukraine in certain things, but it won't save the country unless right measures are taken immediately. We do not yet know how much help Starlink will be of Ukraine, but the text like Elon Musk's will help millions across the globe for sure.